Alright guys, welcome to Mrs. Dronda's Crash Course. In each of these videos, we're going to go over one quick topic that you'll need to know for your midterm. My best advice to you guys on how to use these videos is to look at a question, pause the video, try it on your own, and then watch it for an explanation, because otherwise you're going to wind up just watching me do it and feeling maybe a little overly confident. So as I work through these, pause the video, use them to interact, and as always, if you guys have questions, send them my way. In this video, we're going to talk about solving log and exponential equations. So, like I said before, pause the video. The best thing you can do right now is try these on your own and then hit play when you're ready. So I did goof, guys, and I left my calculator at school, so I'm going to go through these. I'm not going to simplify my answer to any sort of rounded form. I'm going to leave it in exact form, so just know that. So when we solved these, remember the first thing I always told you guys was to take a rectangle and put your exponential or your log inside of it. So on this one, that's my log, right? And I want to make sure that that is isolated. So here it is isolated. There's nothing else with it. Once it's isolated, you can convert. So converting this, what power of 3 equals x minus 1? So 3 to the second equals x minus 1. Then we're going to add 1 to both sides. So this will give me that x equals 10. Remember, with log equations, you should plug your answer back in to make sure it's not extraneous. This is not. All right, let's look at another one. So for this one, that is my base and my exponent. The 50 is not part of it. So here, I'm going to divide both sides by 50 to isolate that. So 2 equals 0.5 to the x. Now if I put a rectangle around it, it is isolated, right? It is alone. So at that point I can convert. So what power of 0.5 equals 2? That power is x. So you could put that in your calculator. I actually know this one because 0.5 is a half, and 1/2 to the negative first would equal 2 because it would flip, right? All right, let's look at the next one. So exponential is just that part, not the 6. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides, 2 to the 2x. And now that is alone, right? If I put a box around that, it's by itself. So what power of 2 equals 16? That power is 2x, right? Now on the left side, well, then we could divide both sides by 2. So log base 2 of 16 over 2. I happen to know that 2 to the 4th is 16. So it's really 4 over 2, which is just 2. And then this is a funny one. So here we've got logs on both sides. So log of this equals log of that. Well, if you've got a log on both sides, the only way these will be equal is if the arguments are the same. So what I know here is that x plus 1 must equal 3x minus 7. So solving, I would get 2x equals 8. So x equals 4. And remember, plug it back in. Make sure it's not extraneous. It's not. Now, let's look at a word problem, or two. Mr. and Mrs. G strongly believe in snow day snacks, so they cooked up some pizza rolls to eat during Winter Storm Harper. Everyone knows pizza rolls would scald you if you eat them when they're not cool enough. In order to eat them safely, the pizza rolls should cool to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. The equation below models the rate at which the pizza rolls cool. How long will it be until they feast? Now, pause the video, try this on your own, let's see how we do. Okay. So here's the deal. We need to know when they will be 100 degrees. So really what that means is, when will this equation equal 100? So I'm going to I'm going to set it equal to 100, because that's what I want to know. When will my final answer be that? And now I can solve this. So my exponential part is the e to the power. So to isolate that, first I'm going to subtract 65. And this is my exponential part, right? Divide both sides by 200, or 220, sorry, to get rid of that. So 135 over 220 equals e to the 0.05 t. Now, this exponential is isolated. So now we can take this and convert. So what power of e is 135 over 220? And you could do ln for that, right? ln, just ln, because the base is e, equals negative 0.05 t. Divide both sides by negative 0.05. So t equals ln, or log base e, of 135 over 220 all over negative 0.5. And you could just put that in your calculator. Okay, these were the two we did in class, the challenge ones. So for this one, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. That gives me 3 log base 3 to the x minus 1. Now that's isolated, so I can convert. So 3 to the third equals x minus 1. 3 to the third is not 9. It is 27. So, I'm sorry, that's a minus 1. So x should be 28. And then for this last one, same idea. We want to know when this baker's pastry cooled to be 70 degrees. So I'm going to set this equal to 70. And then we're going to solve it. So there's your exponential part. Subtract 5, or 65. That's 130 e to the negative 0.032 t. Divide both sides by 130. And then once that's alone, convert and solve. So this would be converted natural log, or log base e, of 5 over 130 equals negative 0.032 t, and divide both sides by that. Which again, you could put in your calculator. I just don't have mine at home. Okay, that's your crash course in log and exponential equations. If you have questions, send them to me, and happy studying.